Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. That's the number you can call or text or email, and that's the social media ways you can follow us. Okay, here's what we, let me see, I got a text message. I always got to check my text messages. Yeah, at least we know that the Democrats can't use age against Trump. I like that. It's like, is it the only thing? I thank you for that text message. Is it the only thing, like they can't try to throw at Trump? Now, Ukraine, I think what has happened here is this whole whistleblower thing. I'm not for sure that this is not ending Biden's campaign. Because now if you Google Biden, Ukraine, and you start reading, and I will bet you Peter Schweizer's book, Secret Empires, is just flying off the shelf. So here, let's do a little bit. This little clip here, it's a minute 15. It gives you a very good look into what President Trump may be asking and Rudy Giuliani of the Ukrainian president in passing. But let's go to number one. We're going to play video one. And pay attention, there's some, you have some reading to do. So let's go to video one.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Okay, so take that out of my ear, please. Okay, so thank you very much. And there you have Viktor Shokin, is that his name? Prosecutor in 2006 in Ukraine, investigating the corruption into, Burisma Holdings. Now, Joe Biden's son, Hunter, knows nothing about natural gas. Joe Biden's son has never sat on the board of a natural gas company he didn't work his way up. He didn't start at a little natural gas company out there in, Sheboygan, Iowa, wherever it is. I don't know. He didn't start out from the, bottom, and all of a sudden he's on the board of the most corrupt natural gas companies in the world. He's on the board. Then this general, a prosecutor general, Viktor Shokin, they're lying to you folks. Guess what? They're lying. He was investigating this whole Burisma Holdings, and Biden held up $1 billion in Ukrainian loan guarantees, okay? Until they fired the guy. Now, what you're hearing everywhere you listen this morning in the hashtag deep state corporate corrupt media, what you're hearing is Biden, the new investigator, has cleared Biden and his son. So the investigation has told, and they can't, they can't tell a gas company what to pay a board member. So they have put out there what Hunter Biden was making with this company. But the investigator said, we can't tell a board what to pay their board members. We can't tell them what to do. Even though it was excessive, even though Joe Biden said if you don't have him fired by this afternoon. Now, Biden claims that it was the Obama administration trying to help Ukraine go through corruption. And this guy, Viktor Shokin, is who's corrupt in the Ukrainian government. Now, let's not forget during the time he's in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin, okay, remember Russia and the puppet president they had, and Obama leaned over and said, hey, as soon as I get elected, I won't have to run anymore. I'll have more latitude, right? And remember, Crimea, is it 1/5 or I don't know, but Crimea, the Russian invasion to take Crimea from Ukraine, happened on Obama's watch. So now this one's a longer, that is the start. This one's longer by ABC, and I do want to say, the day this one came out, let me see if I got it here. It was published June 20th, okay? On June 20th, Rush Limbaugh, now July, August, September, I didn't jump on board. But I will say, when it was published on June 20th, Rush Limbaugh said Biden was through. So the Democrats are trying to turn the whistleblower. The Democrats are trying to turn around that the president put pressure on the Ukrainian government, the president of Ukraine, and said, hey, if you do not investigate the Bidens, all right, maybe he said, look into Joe. Look into Joe firing that other guy, what he was on to. Why don't you do that? So let's go to this one. It is 4 minutes, but it's worth the play. And it comes from ABC News, which is interesting. So let's go to video 2.
Now to our ABC News investigation this morning into Joe Biden's son Hunter and questions about money he made from foreign business dealings while his father was vice president. Our chief national affairs correspondent Tom Llamas traveled to Ukraine to try to get some answers. And Tom, what did you find?
Dave, good morning to you. This is actually an issue Joe Biden has been dealing with since 2014, but it's come up again because he's now running for president. Republicans, including President Trump, are trying to hammer Biden over this. At issue, was Hunter Biden profiting off his dad's work as vice president, and did Joe Biden allow it? We're talking about millions of dollars in at least 2 countries. Mr. Vice President, Tom Llamas with ABC News. How you doing? Got a quick question for you.
It's a question we tried to ask repeatedly,
Can we ask you about Ukraine and China?
but kept getting blocked. Questions about foreign deals his son Hunter Biden pursued
My father, Joe Biden.
in countries where Joe Biden was working as America's top diplomat. In 2014, Ukrainians, sick of corruption, revolted. Vice President Joe Biden went to Kiev to help the new government.
You have to fight the cancer of corruption.
But then, something strange happened. Just 3 weeks later, a Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma, accused of corruption, appoints Hunter Biden, seen here in their promotional videos, to their board of directors, paying his firm more than $1 million a year. Hunter, a lawyer who had just been discharged from the Navy Reserves for testing positive for cocaine.
Mr. Hunter Biden.
He had served on other boards, but had no known experience in Ukraine or natural gas. We went to Kiev and found even among Joe Biden supporters in Ukraine, Hunter's hiring was troubling.
How do you judge what Hunter Biden was doing?
I think that Hunter Biden did a very bad thing, and he was very wrong. He allowed his name to be abused.
And Ukraine wasn't the only country where Hunter Biden's business and his father's diplomacy as vice president intersected. It also happened in China.
This video shows Chinese diplomats greeting Vice President Biden as he arrived in Beijing in December of 2013. Right by his side, his son Hunter. Less than 2 weeks later, Hunter's firm had new business, creating an investment fund in China involving the government-controlled Bank of China. With reports, they hope to raise $1.5 billion. Hunter still plays a role in the fund. His lawyer says his stake is worth about $500,000. Both Hunter and his lawyers say he never discussed any of his overseas work with his father. But even a critic of the current president and his children's business dealings says this.
He should have encouraged his son to not take these positions.
Biden's campaign team told us that the vice president acted at all times in a manner consistent with well-established executive branch ethics standards. One person who did not want to talk about it, Joe Biden.
Mr. Vice President, what's your take on that? Was there a conflict of interest there? Was there a clear conflict of interest? Now, in response to our questions, the Biden campaign, for the first time, is announcing if he's elected, he will invoke a new ethics policy on his first day in office that would empower White House lawyers to monitor for any types of conflicts of interest. Now, Hunter Biden did not want to comment on camera. He says he was brought into Burisma, that Ukrainian company that was facing the corruption charges, to help with its transparency and corporate responsibility. So far, no charges have been brought against Burisma so far.
But these questions aren't going to go away. So in the meantime, is he still on the board for that company in Ukraine?
It's a good question, David. So the same month Joe Biden announces he's going to run for president, Hunter Biden tells us his term on the board expired. He says in the current political climate, he's decided not to renew.
All right. Tom Yamas investigating this morning. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, so his term expired, Hunter's term on Burisma, chapter 4 here, Biden's in Ukraine and China, expired about the time his dad announced, so he quit taking the Ukrainian money about the time his dad announced Joe Biden, he was going to run for office. There was an uprising in Ukraine in 2014 because the Ukrainian people wanted to root out corruption. They wanted to end corruption. They were tired of it. So we have this very, very corrupt natural gas company, and Joe Biden just jets right into Ukraine, and he sits there and he says, I'm going to help. I'm here to help the Ukrainian people and government, navigate through the waters of corruption so you can, clean things up around here. So Joe's over there for that. But while he's there, he's meeting with these people. He's got these people coming in and saying, like Burisma, we're the world's most corrupt natural gas company, but with all this corruption cracking down, something we can work out. Sure, 3 months after I leave, you name my son to the board. He don't know jack sh asterisk about natural gas. But let's slap his ass right on the board, give him some good bucks that he can take home, funnel through 3 or 4 accounts, and I got a little money. Jill and I can, do a little vacationing off of it. Oh, we could do that. We can work that out. So now when the investigator gets too close, you see, the new investigator has not found anything against Burisma. Nothing. No. They've been totally clear. Read chapter 4 in the book. We know they're corrupt. We know the Bidens are corrupt. We know what Joe did. We know exactly what they're saying today. President Trump withheld. Okay? Hold on just a minute. Let's see here. Trump holds on military aid, blindsided top Ukrainian officials. Okay? Senior Ukrainian officials said they were blindsided over the summer when they heard the United States would withhold security assistance to the government. It was a total surprise. Kalimnik, boy, I tell you what, these Ukrainian stories are rough. Who was Ukrainian's foreign minister in August when he learned that the Trump administration suspension of military aid by reading a news article? Now, so they're claiming, they're claiming that Trump withheld money, military aid to Ukraine. All right. Now, let me tell you something that is not being talked about. All right. This was an article that came out, the Atlantic Council. This was from the Atlantic Council, December 13th of 2018. Nobody talks about this. Is Russia about to invade Ukraine again? Okay? And Vladimir Putin must be kicking himself 4 years ago. He could have invaded and seized most of Ukraine in a few weeks, believing that Ukrainians were an artificial nation led by fascists. However, he figured an invasion was necessary and the state would collapse on its own. So he figured it was unnecessary. I'm sorry. The invasion was unnecessary because once he took Crimea and he put the rebel fighters in there, right, under the Obama administration, that Ukraine would collapse on its own. All right. And it did. So that being said, maybe there's some things that are taking place in Ukraine that they don't want to talk about. And the President of the United States and our military aid is going for certain things, whatever. I don't know. But total bypass on the Bidens. But I don't think so. I really don't. I think after that ABC story, I'm just going to tell you, I think it's over for Joe Biden. Now look at the latest. We're going to just put this up for just a brief minute, okay? 2020, number 5, okay? Now, number 5 in the Iowa Democrat matchup there, since June, Warren is up 7% in this poll. She's over Biden 22-20. Now, what will happen in South Carolina, I don't know. But if Iowa lines up behind Elizabeth Warren, and if New Hampshire lines up behind Elizabeth Warren, just saying, all right? So this could be the end of Biden. Let me go through a couple more here. We'll come back in just a minute. 49. Let's go with 49. Okay, so you have a whistleblower, filled out a whistleblower complaint. Now, they're talking about releasing the transcript of the conversation between the president of Ukraine and the president of the United States. Can't do that. Now, I highly recommend the president does not release that transcript, because in the world leaders have to know they could talk to each other. Okay? Now, some are yelling, well, you're hiding this from Congress. No, there has to be a level of trust between world leaders that they have to be able to pick up the phone and know their conversation is not going to turn into a transcript. All right? So Nancy Pelosi, if the administration persists in blocking this whistleblower from disclosing to Congress a serious possible breach of constitutional duties by the president. Impeach. All right, here's number 48. Okay, 48. Schiff moving closer to impeachment. Adam Schiff, okay. Biden, this appears to be an overwhelming abuse of power. You know, I'm interested in this because this is over a phone call that they claim that the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, pressured the Ukrainian president to investigate the Bidens. Did you miss that whole Donald Trump, the coup, the attempt to remove our president? Did you miss the whole entire Russian collusion, delusion? Did you miss the $40 million we just spent on Robert Mueller's report or whatever it is? Number 47. Director of National Intelligence, acting Director of National Intelligence to brief Senate Intel panel. Okay, Pelosi and Schiff edge closer to backing impeachment proceedings. Edge closer to what? Let me go with a couple more. Number 45. Number 45, Trump says he discussed Biden with Ukraine president. So yeah, I discussed Biden. See which one I have here. I just want to get a couple more. We're going to get into the UN Security Council today. Here's one, MSNBC number 37. Okay, here's 37. This is when Biden is over there, the Council of Foreign Relations with Richard Haas there. Trump admits discussing Biden in call with Ukrainian president. But this is when Biden's saying, I will, if the other guy's not fired, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If he's not fired, I'm holding up $1 billion because I don't want him investigating this company, Burisma. I made a deal with them. They're giving my son all kinds of money. Number 36. Trump, this is, I show you, you know what I do? I get up every morning and I study MSNBC, CNN. I study the media so I can bring to you what they are out. Now, they're selling a cover-up on Joe Biden. A total cover-up. We'll get into that in a minute also. I hope I have enough time because at 9:50, I got to get out because at 10:10, it's time for instant replay. So Trump admits discussing Biden in a call with, see, that's at 5:01 a.m. Eastern time. I get up at 4 a.m., 5:01, right out of the box. This is their top story. Number 35. Ukrainian prosecutor says no evidence of wrongdoing by Biden's. You do understand, this is the Ukrainian prosecutor that Biden put in place. This is the Ukrainian prosecutor that they got rid of the other guy and got their own prosecutor to do their own investigation to clear them. Just a minute. Another one from the New York Times, number 32, as Trump confirms he discussed Biden with Ukraine, pressure to impeach builds. Number 31, Biden tweeted this out. Let's be clear, Donald Trump pressured a foreign government to interfere in our elections. Wait a minute. Biden pressured a foreign government. He said, you better fire that guy or I'm keeping $1 billion. Well, you're not the president. Call him. I'll keep $1 billion if you don't get off my son's back. It goes against everything the United States stands for. Right here, Joe Biden. That's everything. We must make him a one-term president, okay? I mean, they went on and on. I'm just showing you a lot of the clips here. Number 30, Democrats hint at impeachment over Trump-Ukraine whistleblower complaint. Really? Really? The American people are just, you're actually guaranteeing, I will tell you this whistleblower complaint is the next step that's guaranteeing Donald Trump's reelection in 2020. Yes, absolutely. Okay. We'll go with number 28. This is on MSNBC. Really quick. Caucus goers warns up 22-20. She's climbing in the Iowa polls. She overtakes Joe. Washington Post this morning, number 26. Washington Post, Trump suggests he spoke to Biden. Ukraine is again thrust into American politics. Number 25, Trump admits discussing Biden in a call with Ukrainian president. All right, now let's get some clips from the Washington Post before we take another break. Number 24, Trump's Ukraine call reveals a president convinced of his own invincibility. He's invincible. Trump's I like the guy, man. Trump's sense of himself as above the law has been reinforced throughout his time in office. As detailed in the Mueller report, he received help from a foreign adversary in 2016 without legal consequence. You really sit here and you think the Washington Post is writing this. They could insert Hillary Clinton in several places. Hillary Clinton is convinced she's invincible. Hillary Clinton's sense of herself as above the law has been reinforced throughout her time as Secretary of State, time as First Lady of the United States. As detailed in the report, he received help from a foreign adversary. Hillary received help from a foreign adversary, right? Steele. The Steele dossier. He received help from the adversary in 2016 without legal consequences. Hillary's never faced any legal consequences for anything. And let me remind you, Seth Rich is dead. I think it's a good time. You know, whistleblower, you need to know Seth Rich is dead. Number 23. He's invincibility. Trump. He sought to thwart the Russian investigation and possibly obstruct justice without consequence. This is the Washington Times. Well, consequence. The guy thwarted the Russian investigation. No. There was a Russian investigation. It was a collusion-delusion investigation of Trump's ties to Russia throughout the campaign that never existed. It was all made up. Through the government, he has earned profits for his business without consequence. He has hotels all the way around the world. People stay at the hotels. He has blocked Congress's ability to conduct oversight without consequences. I mean, Trump, that guy's invincible. There's no consequences for anything he does. Now, this morning let me get to the two most evil people. Let me get there because we got a lot more to do, but I want to get there. Here you go. Number 17. Folks, if you're new to the show, let me say this, but if you've been here for quite some time, these are the gatekeepers of hell. Minka Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. So if you happen to pass this afternoon into the next realm, okay, and you meet these two, it's not going to go well for you. You're at the wrong place. That's just my opinion. Biden in Ukraine, the explainer, okay? The Wall Street Journal is explaining away Biden's problems in Ukraine, okay? And let me show you this. Remember this one, number 14? There's Obama, Joe Biden. They're at a college basketball game, and there's Hunter, and they're yucking it up. And here you go. There you go, number 13. There's Obama throwing the slap down shake. I mean, put it there, the slap right there on Hunter Biden at the basketball game. I mean, they're all in on it. Every one of them. Here's a little better shot. Here, number 12. Okay. All right, number 12. You know, Biden's looking over and Obama's saying, Hunter, I know you tested positive for cocaine. And I know you got kicked out of the military. And I know, whatever. I don't want to go too far. But kicked out. I know you got kicked out. So here's what we'll do. Because every kid in America that got in trouble with a little cocaine, not Tudorutsky, right? And I'm not making light of it. And every kid, see Obama saying, like, look, if there was a young black man in America that has been caught with the same amount of cocaine and using cocaine like yourself, they would be in a prison right now somewhere and maybe on strike 3 doing life because they did a line. But because you're Hunter Biden and your dad's vice president of the United States, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send your ass over to Ukraine. We're going to set you up in this gas company, all right? We got to get you built back up. You're going to be on the board. I know you know absolutely nothing about the natural gas business, but we, Joe and myself, we know a lot about the natural gas corrupt business. We'll get you all set up, okay? I mean, I'm serious, folks. I mean, it really is. So let me say this. Let me see which one I want here. Now, over the weekend, we're going to come back a little more on this, but give me number 8, okay? We have the climate action, okay? Now, here's the good thing. I mean, here's the upside. Kids today, you ever hear that? Kids today. Here's the thing. Kids today do not have to waste their money on long-term retirement savings. They don't have to. I mean, you take a kid, 16-year-old today, and you got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and you got all these other people saying max is about 12 years, and we're done. So why do these kids have to make long-term retirement plans? I mean, is this the last generation that will have a retirement plan? What's the use? We're done in 12 years. I'm going to take a break. We come back, we're going to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit about Iran. We never know. Oh, wait, don't go yet. Don't go yet. That's I almost. Let me do this. Folks, in 6 minutes. All right, I should have sent this already, okay? Hold on. In 6 minutes, the yearly Gilmer County budget meetings are taking place, okay? And when I say that, let me give you what's happening. So if you want to know what's going on in Gilmer County with your tax dollars, at 9 a.m., it'll be the tax assessor will be in there at 9 a.m. this morning, okay? At 10 will be the sheriff's office, yearly budget. At 11:30 will be code and regulatory compliance. At 1:30 today will be Superior Court and Juvenile Court. At 2:30 today, it's Monday, right? At 2:30 today, at 2:30 will be Park and Rec over there. At 3:30, Planning and Zoning. And at 4 o'clock, Solid Waste. So that's today's lineup. So right now at 9 o'clock, Tax Assessor, Sheriff's Office, Detention Center, 911, Code and Regulatory Compliance, Superior Court, Juvenile Court, Park and Rec, Planning and Zoning, Solid Waste. And that's all out there for today. Now we are videoing. Lonnie's over there. We will video each and every one, and we will put them up so you can see the discussion. Now the thing with me on Gilmer County right now, there's only the commission chair, Charlie Paris, and post 2 commissioner, post 2 or post 1, Commissioner Carleen Ferguson. Dallas Miller resigned, so there's only 2 commissioners that don't care to spend some money. I'm just saying, just me doing your budget for next year. I'm your host, BKP. Take a little break.